It is Friday, the 27th of September, 2024. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. This is news to 6 a.m. on News Power Digital. The People's National Movement's Tobago Council political leader, Ansel Dennis, says he's ready and honored to serve as a government senator after being picked by the Prime Minister to replace Laurel Lazama Leasing, who resigned as a senator in the wake of a recent interim court protection order against her. Dennis gave the undertaking hours after a 6 a.m. post on the Prime Minister's Facebook page yesterday, which revealed that Dr. Rowley advised President Christine Kangaloo to appoint Dennis 37 as a government senator in the wake of Lazama Leasing's September 25th resignation. Lazama Leasing's resignation came amid reports of an interim court-issued protection order filed against her by her estranged husband Darren Leasing, son of former Port of Spain mayor and businessman Louis Leasing. Lazama Leasing has categorically denied being capable of any such acts of domestic violence alluded to by the public after excerpts of the interim court order were made public. Ansel Dennis joins Tobago PNM Senator Lawrence Hislop, who was appointed in March of 2022, Independent Senator Dr. Maria Dillon Remy, and of course also in the Parliament, PNM's MPs Shamfa Kojo Lewis and Ayanna Webster Roy. Meanwhile, leader of the opposition, Kamla Persad-Bissessar, has asked the public to stop washing their mouths on former PNM Senator Laurel Lazama Leasing, who resigned as a senator. Persad-Bissessar says she passes no judgment on Lazama Leasing and urged people to stop washing their mouths on her. She added, heaping ridicule of her in her situation is not necessary. Let her some quiet and leave her peacefully some time to work things out. The opposition leader also sought to underscore regarding the order against her, she will have her chance in court to clear her name. She said Lazama Leasing is a young woman and there's always problems, but hope things would improve in the future. She believes the most important thing for both Lazama Leasing and her husband would be the well-being of their children. Just days before the 2025 budget is read this coming Monday, Chief Secretary of the Tobago House of Assembly laid a motion yesterday in the Assembly's plenary sitting demanding at least 5.8% of the fiscal package, noting a long history of underfunding, with Tobago receiving only about 3% of the national budget from 1980 to 1996. He said, I've come to the conclusion that this House needed to assemble before the national budget and essentially call on the Minister of Finance to allocate to the THA no less than 5.8% of the national budget to meet Tobago's urgent developmental priorities and address historical underfunding in Tobago. A 39-year-old man was robbed of $40,000 after withdrawing money from a bank in Valsayn. The man told the police on Wednesday he paid a visit to Republic Bank and withdrew the money. He then made his way to Chagonis, where he parked and secured his Toyota Hilux along the road. He left the money in an envelope at the center console and went away. Upon returning around 11:40 a.m., he observed the right side of the driver's window broken. When he checked inside the vehicle, he realized the cash was missing. WPC Orozco is continuing inquiries. Police again advise citizens not to make themselves soft targets for criminal elements, especially after making transactions from financial institutions. Escalating gang violence resulted in the shooting death this week of two men in Malik, Barataria. Police believe that 46-year-old David Marisho, aka Lollipop, was killed as a result of escalating tensions between warring gangs in the Malik community. 11 spent 9mm shells were found where he died. He was shot dead on Wednesday. Police stated around 4:06 p.m. Marisho was standing near a mini-mart in Malik when gunshots were heard. A group of men were seen fleeing the scene. A team of officers led by Sergeant Campbell, Sergeant Ramkisoon, and Corporal Daniel are among those who responded. Police sources have said gang activities in the Malik community have increased recently due to a disagreement between two rival criminal organizations who are operating in the area. Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Minister Dr. Amy Brown told the UN General Assembly that TNT reiterates its determination to achieve a goal of a world free of nuclear weapons. Speaking at the high-level meeting to commemorate the International Day for the Total Elimination of Nuclear Weapons on Thursday, Dr. Brown said a small island developing state with a long-standing commitment to international peace and security, Trinidad and Tobago fully comprehends the existential threat that nuclear weapons pose to humanity. In international news, Helene made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 hurricane and is now a tropical storm. It was the strongest hurricane on record to slam into Florida's Big Bend. Helene was one of the largest storms in the Gulf of Mexico in the last century, with winds spans roughly the distance between Indianapolis and Washington, D.C. Watches and warnings were in place for 60 million people in 12 states. There have been 3 storm-related deaths. Catastrophic wind damage from the storm caused power outages for more than 2 million people and hundreds of flight cancellations. And that is news to 6 a.m. right here on News Power Digital. We'll have major news coming away at 7 a.m. Good morning.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Morning, neighbors. Hope all well. It is the 27th day of September. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Full casting this morning. You just heard from Dr. Paul Richards. We'll hear from Wendell Stephen, Richard Ragoobarsingh. We got Ruben and Shane in the mix. Of course, my name is Steve Khan. 25 degrees at Crown Point in Tobago, 27 at Piarco International Airport. Let's see if the Met Office has updated their weather. They have not within the last 12 hours. They have not updated. All right. Traffic-wise, usual stuff. Cougar to Sugargonas, Charlieville towards the interchange again in the Port of Spain. You've got some volume there. All right. Let's say good morning. Good night to you, Paul. How you doing?
Good morning, Steve. Good morning, everyone.
Wonderful. You're all cloaked up there.
Yep, it's cold.
Tell Zena to turn the air conditioner down. I mean, raise the temp. Maybe she's too hot. Needs to cool down.
No comment.
I don't know. I'm just saying.
No comment.
I'm just saying. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday. Whew, thank goodness it's Friday. I couldn't get up this morning, bro. I was in one strong, deep snooze there, boy. Whoa. I thought I blinked and it was a 20-minute blink. And I said, oh, shoots. Fly off the bed. Well, let's see who sent us hellos this morning on this Friday. We got DJ Ray out in Delaware, Garcia in Valencia, Ray out in West Palm Beach, Florida. How's the weather down in your side? How was it yesterday? John Cato, good morning. Rena Budu Jennings, Ewan Ratchball, Boy DC out in Debe, Cohen Duke, Wayne Bennett in Covington, Georgia. How's your weather going to be this morning? With that hurricane, I think it's a Cat 2 or 1 now. It hit
the tropical storm now.
Is it a tropical storm now? Okay. Well, it hit landfall. So let's see. David Wares and, of course, Mrs. Wares. Sasha out in London. Oliver Man Warren. Alistair Hart. Business Bassard. Gloria Gray. Bender Isaac. Michael Robinson in Yokohama, Japan. Lisa Marie Mohammed. Daniel Knights, good morning. Huda Wells. Marcia Rock out in Florida. How you doing? Let us know. All right. On WhatsApp, let's see. We have Michael out in London. We have Captain Ron. Oh, Captain Ron is in pictures. Captain Ron is in Ethiopia. Whoa. Okay, Captain Ron. Wow, that's a long flight. Of course, we got Vincent out in Birmingham, UK. We got Dan Raj. We got David Nelson. We got Sankofa. Good morning to you guys. Thank you so much. We love when you tell us hellos. We do. All right. Captain Ron's enjoying his trip to Ethiopia. I see. Send some pictures here. Oh, very nice. Wendell will love that. Okay. Right. She said it had Marcia Rock is saying Yeah, we know the storm is coming your way any which way. Hope you're okay though. Hope your property is all right as well. Right. Yes, Paul. Where's Wendell?
I don't know. Is he here yet?
No, I'm well. I would know. All is well. No damage on my side in Orlando. Okay. Thank you, Marcia Rock. Right. Okay. Right. Yeah, Paul.
Yes, good morning, everyone.
Right. Yeah. Shimo Paul, good morning to you as well. Sending us messages. Of course, this morning, we're going to chat with some folks from the U.S. Embassy. All right. So you'll be, and I think they have the green card thing coming up. I'll check to see what they sent in a second. Okay. Right. Yeah. Donna Clark, good morning to you. Of course, it is Friday, the 27th day of September, the last day of the month being Budget Day Monday. And then we into October. The second best month of the year.
So congratulations to Ansel Dennis.
Yeah, Senator.
Well, soon to be sworn in as a senator.
And they're going to do that today, right?
No, they won't do it today. They will do it after the budget.
Oh, they will. Okay. There you go, folks. After the budget.
There are no sittings of the Senate plan that I know about before the budget.
Oh.
So on Monday, the finance minister will deliver the budget in the House of Representatives, following which there will be the budget debate and the standing finance committee in the House, which usually takes about 2 to 2.5 weeks in all. And then the finance minister will present the budget in the Senate after it goes through its process in the House. And so Mr. Dennis will be sworn in, I guess, at the start of that.
Okay.
So he has about, I guess, 2.5 weeks before he's actually sworn in.
Oh, okay. Of course, next week, as we discuss the budget, we do have a few guests already. We'll have Mariano Brown. We should have Valmiki Arjun on. We have confirmed Brian Manning as well. As we talk about the budget, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what's going to say, where the money is going to go, but we'll discuss it next week and see where it goes from there. And that's what we have so far.
Well, interesting choice by the Prime Minister. Of course, the speculation is that, well, it is to help to raise the profile of Mr. Dennis in Tobago, which is what you do when you have an election coming up. But I don't know that Tobago House of Assembly election is due anytime soon. But certainly his position, Mr. Dennis's position in the Senate will raise his profile on a national level. The PNM already has one Tobago person in the form of Senator Lawrence Hislop, who is from Tobago, who is already in the Senate. And there's also another Tobago person in the Senate, Dr. Maria Delanami, who is on the independent bench. And from time to time, the Tobago people from Tobago who substitute for persons who may be absent on the independent bench. And in the House, there are two people, Minister Shamfa Kojo and Minister Ayanna Webster Roy. So Tobago is well represented in the Parliament moving forward. So we see how it goes. Congratulations to Mr. Dennis, and we wish Mrs. Lizama Leasing all the best.
We do.
She resigned, and Mrs. Prasad Bissessa, the leader of the opposition, has said people should stop washing their mouths on Laura Lizama Leasing, and heaping ridicule on her is not necessary. Give her time to deal with her issues, and she's a young woman, and hopefully she can come through this. And so it's very gracious of Mrs. Prasad Bissessa to say that. You know, we're seeing some real grace from our leaders in the recent times, which is good.
I totally agree with her.
Yeah.
You know, in my opinion is that it's a personal matter that they have to work out, and It doesn't need to be played out in the public eye.
Well,
You know, a lot of people go through that. So,
that's true in theory.
yeah, in theory.
Public people are not often afforded that sort of grace when they have personal issues that end up in the public domain.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're a public person.
Mm-hmm.
So. And yes, Sherwin Kerr is right. The president of the San Nigel Freitas is also Tobagonian. So thank you for that.
Oh, yes. I forgot about it.
That is very true. So Tobago's in the house. Tobago's in the house. Woo-hoo.
We need to do a show in Tobago for a week.
Yeah, once you pay for it.
We got it sponsored.
Once you pay for it, we will jump upon it.
We could stay at Beverly's.
No, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Beverly's real nice, but
that's cool. I'm sure Beverly's is real nice. Give me Magdalene the Grand, please.
Give you the where?
The Magdalene the Grand.
Okay. We could do that as well.
You can
I haven't been there in a long, long time. I don't even know how that hotel looks now.
Let me resist comment. My last day there was challenging.
Did that hotel, it's Marriott that was supposed to open in Tobago, or it was built and hasn't opened or something? It's Marriott?
I don't know.
Beefy Smith, we need you. Help us here.
But it was about 2.5 years ago. I stayed at the Magdalene Grand. It needed upgrading. Let me just say that.
Mm-hmm.
The doors were rusty. I had to change rooms because the bathroom wasn't working properly. It was quite challenging.
Yeah, maintenance part of it is because that's sea blast galore.
Yeah.
So in construction of that building, they should have put that, have that in mind. That over the years,
you don't think they did, Steve?
let me not say what I know.
They knew the side of the island that they were building that hotel on.
Yeah, let me not say what I know.
The issue is poor maintenance.
That as well.
The issue is they knew that when you build
that is constant maintenance, huh?
It should need constant maintenance because that sea blast and sandblast is extremely damaging to infrastructure.
Mm-hmm.
That's why there's so few hotels on that side of the island because
because of the sea blast, the wind coming
off the yeah. Yep. So congratulations to Mr. Dennis. We see how it goes. Staying with Tobago, Fally Augustine held a plenary session of the House of Assembly where he demanded 5.8% of the budget. Demanded. He says Tobago has always been plagued by underfunding. Generally, Tobago receives about 3 to 3.3 or 3.5% of the national budget. That's a general trend. So I think, given the political climate, that Minister Ember et al. Are putting no 5.8 billion % of the budget in Mr. Augustine's hands. That ain't happening. But I mean, he has the right to call for it. Nothing wrong with that. People, I want to tap this camera. My good camera is giving trouble this morning for some reason. I don't know what the hell wrong with this camera. Anyway, so using our old camera this morning as well, looking so crappy. People,
the camera. Go ahead.
People, the camera. Why are you withdrawing large sums of money and leaving it in your car and going off? Why? Why would you withdraw $40,000 from a bank, pull up, and leave the money in an envelope in the car on the center console, seemingly visible? I don't know if somebody was tracking him or following him or whatever, but why would you leave an envelope?
Somebody followed him.
The one time I got my car window broken, I'll never forget it. I'll never do it again. I went to Central Market, parked up, and stupidly left the phone in the front seat.
Oh.
I literally went into the market for 3 minutes. 3 minutes. And by the time I came out, the miscreants had already crossed the road because there's the marking here. They are on the lookout.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I came out of the Central Market, 3 minutes later, the window was broken and the phone was gone. So not only did I have to replace the phone, I have to replace the window. I
Yeah.
have to replace the window. And I said, what that cat window? I didn't need that window down. It's going to have a shock.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, okay, I didn't need the window down. They broke the window. So do not leave things that could be attracting people in your car.
Mm-hmm.
If you leave an envelope on the center console, somebody going to say, well, I wonder what did that.
Yeah. I don't leave anything in my car. You look at my car, you don't see anything.
Why would you leave that kind of money on the center console?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I just don't understand that. Good morning, Mr. Steve.
Morning, Richie Rich.
Morning,
Oh,
sorry. Morning, gentlemen, and good morning, listeners and viewers. Yeah,
how you late this morning, man?
long story.
You need to shave your throat.
Long story. Anyway, let me just wish quickly happy birthday to Carla Gonzalez.
No, tell us good morning properly first. Don't jump into the birthdays. Tell us good morning.
I said good morning.
Say it in a more warm manner. Don't just dismiss us as good morning and jump into birthdays. What the hell do you think it is?
Okay.
You don't come late. You come late already. And now, you see, that's the trouble. I really get in trouble, Come and you come late. Say, hey, guys, how you going? Sorry to be late. Other little issue I was dealing with. She left late. She wanted a lanyard. And I had to accede to her wishes. And so I'm sorry I'm late, but, okay. Just come and say jump into birthdays. Come on.
So good morning, Paul.
Good morning,
Good morning,
Wendell.
Steve.
Good morning.
Good morning, Richard.
And
good morning, Kevin. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Much better.
All of it. You didn't ask who is Kevin, though.
It's Ruben.
All of a sudden, I see an invitation from Kevin. I say,
yeah, so I passed it, because I never got I'm seeing that. So I passed it.
Right,
This thing is full 5 minutes I take looking for this thing.
Anyway, good morning, listeners and viewers. I really have been in a terrible mood. I don't know why. Well, I know why, but I can't tell you all why. So let me wish people, Libra season, of course, has started. So let me wish some people some happy birthday. Belated birthday greetings to my very good friend who lives out there in London, Dennis Neve. His birthday was yesterday. Today is Carla Gonzalez's birthday. Everybody knows Carla.
Morning, Carla. Happy birthday, Carla.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin Frank from down there in Powder Magazine. Happy birthday, Gavin. Lawrence Jitan Singh, he is celebrating his birthday today. Suzanne Kanai, Randy Surjlal, and Olivia Leplat, and Glenda Ugaro. All of they are celebrating birthdays. Was yesterday Minister Terence Singh's birthday?
Yes, it was.
It was.
Yes, it was. Today's also the birthday of a Remian. I know Richard knows him. Diane Maharaj. So Diane, happy birthday. I haven't heard from you in a long time. Hope it's well with you and the family.
Right. So
yeah. All right. So we got that out today.
Yeah. What did I miss?
What did we miss? This is I'm here.
Yeah, what's going on, Wendell? Why are you in a bad mood? Tell us.
Who get through?
Y'all don't want to know my business.
I want to know. I want to know.
I concur. I want to know. You see, if you had picked me up from cricket, I'd say, leave him alone. But yeah, pick me up from cricket. I want to know.
Nothing. I'm good. You learn human beings more and more every day, You learn something about human beings more and more every day.
Taking jams there, right?
Well, you kind of, how I should put it, put your trust and faith sometimes in people and they disappoint you. That happens.
What did
I'm not talking here about anything personal. I'm talking about in general now. But that's all right. We're here. We're happy to be in the land of the living. I did reach out to Laurel yesterday, and I'm happy to hear that Mrs. Prasad Bisesa, I think I heard you say just now, Mrs. Prasad Bisesa said, words to the effect to give her some space and
Stop
whatnot.
washing her mouth anymore, man. She said,
Right.
give her some space, let her heal and resolve her issue. She's a young woman, and hopefully she can get through. I was very happy to hear Mrs.
But
Besemi.
I'm extremely happy to hear that, because I know I saw a report previously that she was saying the PNM needs to clear the air or come clean on the issue with Laurel. You know, I know that was a statement she had made previously. So I'm happy to hear that she has changed that. Yeah, give Laurel some time. You know, and congratulations to Ansel Dennis. Didn't he serve in the Senate before?
Not that I know of.
Okay, I may be wrong. So congratulations to him, you know, on serving in the Senate. Well, being placed in the Senate to replace Laurel. You know, these personal issues that spill over into private life. I mean, these into public life. These private issues that spill over into public life is not easy to deal with. Trust me. You know,
How is your throat?
my throat is good. I just didn't clear it enough. I didn't have water for the morning. That's why
You
I
should drink
normally
a
have
glass of water
water.
as soon as you
I
get out
normally
of
have
bed.
water first thing in the morning. You know that's advised, right? It's advised that you take water first thing in the morning.
Yeah. And then half an hour before bed, half an hour before a shower.
Yeah. Who's that? Hill Bench. All right. Yes. Power Rangers. Coffee Wendell. Okay. Morning, and thanks for all the advice. Shave your throat, Keith Watkins. Solve worries, I blade them.
Well, no, I wouldn't
Say a
advise
word.
that. I would not advise that.
What
That
is
is
it?
not advisable, okay? You can, however, anyway, I'm going to say that.
No,
It's really.
it's nothing anywhere near that. So
Well,
sorry to disappoint you.
I've
Good
heard about,
morning, Rena.
I've heard about your proclivities
Yeah.
and your adventures. It's Friday morning, people. Hope you're having a good day.
There's cricket at the Brian Lara Stadium tonight again.
Really?
Yeah. TKI will play Barbados Royals tonight
Oh.
this evening at I think it's 8 o'clock is the game, 8 or 7. I'm not sure. You know, so
I went to a nice little birthday dinner last night
Oh, really?
for my friend's mother. Happy belated 95th birthday to Claire Fonsett.
Ooh. Birthday, Claire.
Lovely dinner party put together by her daughter and her sons, Wendy, Edison, and Howard. So it was really a nice. It was a themed party with flowers. It was really a lovely little line when the food was fantastic. Good morning, Ragoobarsingh.
Good morning. This is the fastest
good.
you've ever been.
Sorry?
I said this is the fastest you've ever been. It was virtually instantaneous.
It's not. I'm trying not to be fast too often.
Yeah, give the man a complex.
Fast may be problematic at times.
Yeah.
This is not one of those times where expediency is not required. How are you, Ragoobarsingh? Are you getting ready for?
That's Extravagant News, which premieres tomorrow. Brand new comedy at the Winifred Atwell Auditorium at Queen's Hall. Saturday at 8:30 and Sunday at 6:30. It's a brand new comedy. We are having late nights, as you can see from the bags under my eyes. So late nights.
You mean new bags? I ain't seen a new bags.
I must have gotten home maybe about 12:30, and I was up till maybe 3:30, still doing stuff. But yeah, we're on Saturday and Sunday. And of course, tickets available at the Queen's Hall box office from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the usual outlets: Electronics, Arima, Jabali Rawi, Tunapuna, and Tony's Flores, Valpark Shopping Plaza, Shafler Auto Services in Shafler, of course. And of course, K-Squared Fashions outlets at West Mall, East Gates, and Brent Mall in Chagonas. You can get tickets there. We are all zooming towards that fantastic opening tomorrow night. That's Extravagant News. What in the dark must come to light at Queen's Hall. Don't miss it. It's going to be hilarious. We're having so much fun. So much fun. Wendell, why so serious this morning? Who get your vex?
Plenty people get me vexed yesterday, yes.
Who could get your vex?
Plenty people, but it's all good. It's all good. What are we talking to the U.S. Embassy about today, though?
I don't know. Only Steve knows. Steve arranged it. Good morning
I
to
think
you in the Florida Panhandle.
I think their wait times for tourist visas have been adjusted. I think they have things like that.
Mm-hmm.
You also have, I think, the green card lottery coming up in October.
Online payments for tourist visas, fraud, relaunch step for American citizens, absentee voting abroad, and the green card lottery, which opens in October. Those are the main topics we'll be covering with Mr. Michael Fitzpatrick, Consular Chief of the U.S. Embassy. You can call him Mike.
Okay, we could call him Mike. All right.
Who the hell is Mike? Well, no, it's not that. It's not that. That's not his song. It's who the hell is Kim? Sorry, I'm tired.
What was that anyway?
Who the hell is Kim?
Kim.
It's Kim, man.
Yeah, so those are the things that are happening here. Those of you in Florida who are without power still, about 2 million per power knocked out for them because of Hurricane Helene, which is now really a tropical storm.
I have a friend who flies, who's an air steward, and she was in a plane and on the tarmac.
You mean a cabin attendant?
In Orlando. Is that what it is? Cabin attendant, no? I don't
like
how that sounds.
Steward and stewardess anymore. We use with cabin attendant.
All right, well, a cabin attendant. She was on the plane was on the tarmac in Orlando, and she said the plane was rocking
on the ground.
It was that bad. They couldn't move, of course. They couldn't take off, but the plane was rocking, she said.
You traveled and we didn't know?
No. She put that up. She posted that.
I'm being facetious.
Oh, no. No, I hope to travel next weekend.
Cabin crew. You also anything that I sent for the NTSB?
Yes.
NTSB? Because a lot of those planes are what Caribbean Airlines uses.
Is that a news story? Because have we heard about the Boeing 737s before?
No, but this is a ramping up of warnings by the security agency that has done an investigation. So it was a CNN report that came out yesterday concerning those 737 lines of planes from Boeing, because they're saying the rudder could sometimes jam, and they actually have a thing there's actually, if you read the article, there's actually some instructions that if it jam, use force and in terms
pilot
of whatever,
and the co-pilot had to use force.
To use force. And I'm like, what the hell?
Imagine in a plane. Them roughing up the throttle.
Oh,
20,000 feet in them roughing up the together. What?
You don't have anything to worry about. You rather just stick, but we using force.
I read that and I wasn't sure if it was a serious article.
I'm like, what? What is this? What are you talking about? To further increase my anxiety when you're in the air.
And then there was one that I actually sent for Captain Ron the other day about a plane that avoided a near collision on descent to San Francisco, and 2 passengers were injured. Morning, Captain Ron. I haven't heard from you for a few days.
He's in Ethiopia.
He's in Ethiopia. Lovely. I wonder if my friend is back from Ethiopia as yet. I had a friend who went to Uganda and Ethiopia recently.
So what do you all think of Ansel Dennis in the Senate? Is this strategic on Dr. Rowley's part?
Is it that Laurel willingly resigned, or is that
Are you sure you want to use it willingly?
But it's a question.
Well, for all intent and purposes, she resigned.
She resigned. I don't know. We will never know the machinations behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Of course we will. It's the Power Breakfast Show.
I know what
probably won't.
I know what I heard. I heard that, and I heard there was a conversation with a senior member of the administration, or a senior member of the administration was dispatched to have a conversation about what was happening.
Oh, well,
And
that could only be the lady vice chairman.
6:36, Steve, shall we open the phone lines?
We can do that. You know the numbers are ready. 222-8255. North Americans toll free.
Happy birthday
525-1099.
to Michael Manish Robinson on Sunday from UU. Whoever UU is.
You is she. I think that
They're
wasn't she
in
one of the
Japan.
people. Wasn't she one of the girls who
She's
came?
one of
with
the
Mike?
girls that
Manish,
going
yes.
to UU who came down for Carnival
Yes.
that we met for breakfast. So
Yes.
happy birthday to UU.
Well, happy birthday to Manish. Is Manish birthday coming? Not you.
Oh. Right. Okay.
She is
Got it.
sending out early greetings to him.
Okay, Michael. Wendell, just to poke the bear, is it the timing of the allegations and the subsequent resigning customary timeline for those sorts of incidents
It is conspiracy theory, you know.
in the administration, or is the timeline a little quicker than usual? I'm freezing it as carefully as possible.
Yeah. I don't know. I hear why. Because I know that it's not only one order that was served. Okay? The orders went both ways. Okay? And
so you mean one this and the other?
Yes.
Okay, so it's like a tit for tat, maybe?
Yes.
Something like that?
Yes. Which is normally how it's done anyway.
Yeah.
Especially when you're going through a divorce, a bitter divorce. Because divorces are most times bitter, right?
Yeah, a lot of times.
Yeah. So they go both ways. Because the minute one person open their mouth or say something, they advise to go to the court, you know. And I tell people the easiest thing to get is one of those orders, you know. Because all you have to do is go before a court officer and say, so-and-so, tell me so-and-so, and I feel threatened, I feel in danger. And they do the order, you know. And they do the order regardless of hearing from the other person. So that's how those things are.
You can get it ex parte.
Right. That's why that's it too, right? And then they battle it out in court later on you, right?
Yeah.
That's how those things work. But again, as I said, I think, and I don't know, I have no facts to support this, that she's a victim of internal politics. That's how I see it.
Yeah, that's why I said let me poke the bear.
Yeah.
Because is it a little faster than usual?
Yeah. You know, and for it to come out in the public like the way it came out. You understand? That's
I am not going to discuss the people's private affair.
No, we're not discussing the people. We're discussing what is in the news, because let's face it, and people will accuse us of it. If it had happened to somebody in the UNC, we would have been talking about it.
If it involves a marital situation and children, I would pretend not to talk about it.
And Paul, I agree with you, because we said that from the beginning, right? That these are sensitive issues that you know, I don't enjoy speaking about it. If I had to talk, I could talk about myself. You understand? I'm very open about myself, you know, but other people's business, I think, you know. And again, as I say, I know both individuals, and they both don't deserve the public spectacle. You understand? They both don't deserve it. You know?
Sorry. But well, you know, when you're in the public light, it's part of the trade-off, I guess.
Yes. And it's big news.
Yep. It's part
It's
of
big
the
news
trade-off.
for the media.
That's what you bought when you entered public life.
Yep.
All right. We do have some calls coming through, guys. So let's go. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
I have a question for you all. I don't know if Steve, you might know, or Paul, you might know the answer. How many functioning DMOs do we have in Trinidad and Tobago right now?
I don't think anybody is equipped on this show to answer that.
That's a good question.
Because I saw an article in the papers about a backlog in Tobago. And there was an article on social media. I don't know how true it is, but one of the deceased that is in the backlog, among the deceased in the backlog, is the mother and the two children that passed away in the tank. And this is so because there is no pathologist to go to Tobago to do the autopsies.
Well, I read a similar story, but the story said that they were dispatching a pathologist because of the backlog.
So they were dispatching a pathologist because of the backlog. So that means they have more than one. It's just somebody didn't manage the timing properly that Tobago have this large backlog because this woman and her children passed several weeks ago.
No, but remember, Tobago has had an unusually high murder rate also, yeah? And those bodies also have to be processed for evidence.
Murders. A pathologist just do murders.
That's my point. That's exactly my point. That's exactly my point. That because of the number of murders, there are more than usual bodies to be processed.
That just don't make any sense to me, Paul, because
all right.
A pathologist supposed to be in Tobago for the natural death that occurs. We only have 20 murders in Tobago. That's not a thing that shocked Tobago and shocked the whoever does manage the pathologist that they don't know that they have to go to Tobago to do the average death. A buddy of mine, mother died about a month ago, and she had to wait 2 weeks to get the autopsy. I thought that was a one-off thing, but apparently it's an ongoing thing now that there's a backlog of the pathologist doesn't go to Tobago often enough. And why? My question really comes from why doesn't Tobago have their own pathologist assigned to Tobago so that we don't have to be spending taxpayers' money to be flying a pathologist back and forth for Tobago?
I'm not sure that that's accurate. That we have to send a pathologist to Tobago when they need.
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, that is what I was made to understand. So maybe you could clarify, you could confirm, and so we can have a better understanding. Thank you very much, gentlemen.
All right. Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, guys.
Morning.
Well, I am listening to the leader of the opposition begging for people to stay out of Laura Leasing's business. And I'm saying, I wonder when policeman Terrence's wife put his business out on social media. Well, she says she didn't put it. She sent it to a friend. And as the friend sent it, and she take legal let Laura Lund saying, and Judge Judy loves to say, if you didn't send it out in the first place, if you didn't videotape it, and you didn't send it to somebody, then go reach out there. That's number one, right? So it's only when it happened to us, then we just feel, I wonder if when Kadisha Amin business was out there, when she was in some bands, I wonder what Laura Leasing did say. But you see, it's only when it come home, then we just feel it. Right?
Miss Henry, Paula, Mr. Martin, we could only answer for ourselves on the show, you know. And if you remember, I too was criticized for not delving into that Khadija Amin story because
I remember
my friend and I didn't like it.
Let me tell you, Bailey not like to say when you're in public life, your business is out there. He always they say that.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
Guardian reporter, somebody tells she this the MP for Lavantil, I think it's Leonson, is a wife beater, and he takes
Ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Those were subjects of court matters that MP Leon's won. You can't repeat those things.
Yeah, let me make that absolutely clear. Ma'am, you are not to call and repeat those nonsense on the air.
And you would
That
know
is an irresponsible thing to do, and the next time you do it, you will be banned.
Yeah, you can't
You
you can't
repeat
be
those
repeating
nonsense
things.
on the air. What's wrong with you?
Yeah. You can't be saying those things, man.
No.
We on this show, we take certain positions. You understand? It's up to other people. If they want to go down the road of the bacchanal, they could do it. We generally don't. We just create our own bacchanal amongst ourselves. We have
And the
enough
next time you
bacchanal.
call, you should apologize for repeating that statement.
We have enough bacchanal amongst ourselves to entertain everybody.
Because repeating the allegations that were proven in a court of law to be untrue is just as bad as the first time it was said.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
Can't
All
do
right.
that.
Should you have papers?
Yeah, yes, I do actually.
You share them with us, please, while I take them.
Yeah.
No,
There you go.
These are the kinds of arguments I had yesterday that didn't do me any good.
All right, I'll start with the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian for today. And today, of course, is Friday, September 27th, 2024.
It is World Tourism Day as well.
Oh,
Also known as the eve of the launch of That's Extravagant News at Queen's. So it's front page of the Guardian today. Laurel quits. That's the front page story. Replaced by Ansel Dennis as PNM Senator amid domestic abuse case fallout. And there is a picture of the respective parties. 4-year-old boy recovering after Malik shooting. Fired director's lawsuit against SSE delayed. And on the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian today, thank you, DJ Bravo. You're a champion. No, they didn't have that. I'm just including it. Hail to the champ. And that's on the back page of the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian. Moving on to the Newsday. Front page. Dennis replaces Lizama Leasing in Senate. I am ready to serve, he says. WASA $20 million gallon deficit at Carney plant. The main picture, Save Our World. 2 members of the I Am movement hold placards at the start of a march on Thursday at Queen's Park, Savannah, aimed at bringing awareness to climate change and the need to better protect the planet. And up on top of the front page, there's a story of something called That's Extravagant News at Queen's Hall on Saturday the 28th and Sunday the 29th at Queen's Hall. And on the back page of the Newsday, Lara returns to Harvard, calls cricket clinic home. TKR want to win CPL for retired teammate. Let's make Bravo smile. Moving on to the Daily Express, the last of our 3 dailies this morning. Laurel resigns. PM replaces ex-PNM Senator with Tobago's Ansel Dennis. Kamla pays soldiers more money. And of course, there are inset photos of the parties involved. And young talent is another picture. Members of Gabriel Girls RC School Steel Orchestra, the Gabriels, rehearsed at the NLCB Fontclair Steel Orchestra Band Theatre on Dotton Street in San Fernando on Wednesday. And on the back page, WASA, reservoirs lowest in 4 years, implements measures amid severe water shortage. And I wonder why they have so much water shortage, because there seems to be quite a lot of rain, I've heard.
Yeah, how is the reservoir the lowest in 4 years?
Yeah.
Main sports story, well-played champion Pollard Simmons praised Bravo on retirement. TKR battling to overcome injuries. Royals and national champ reaches classic quarterfinals, and Lara pledges to go back home to Harvard. All of these are your stories in the 3 dailies this morning.
I was pleasantly surprised to hear Lara commit to going back to assisting Harvard and so on. I thought that was a really good gesture on his behalf. And Richard, I should mention that your dad is mentioned in Brian Lara's book, eh?
Yeah, I saw the excerpt that you sent to me.
Yeah. I'm enjoying that book actually, yes.
I forwarded it to my sister. I know he was at the Arima Town Hall that day.
Yes.
And I know Brian had brought him up and stuff, and he was gushing when he came home. Because at that point he was already blind. And so he was gushing and gushing when he came home. He was so proud,
All right.
of Brian that day. I remember it very clearly because Brian came by us after, and so we sat down talking for a little while.
Right. Nice, man.
right.
I'm
Good.
enjoying that book. Y'all should read it.
All right. Well, let's get the results of our morning poll where we asked you yesterday. Do you support the Family Planning Association's call for sex education in schools? That was our poll yesterday. Every single person said yes.
All right.
Sex. That's all they want to talk about. Sex.
Let's talk about. Anyway, I just wanted to say it as a public service announcement, just in because we spoke about it with Robert Lahand earlier this week. The Arima Smart City launch is actually on tomorrow, from 10 a.m. The minister did send me an invitation, and of course,
I think it's you caused that.
No.
It's quite possible you
I
fast-track
think your advocacy caused that. To be very
You
honest.
fast-track it, Richard.
I think you fast track it. They get fed up with you ponging them.
Anyway, I think the launch was planned, and so anyway, it's happening tomorrow. So I'm very curious. It's also a walking launch, so they say come ready to walk. So if I can rouse myself up, I'm going to go simply so I can bring back feedback. So I can bring feedback.
What time is it tomorrow?
From 10 a.m. I think.
All right, I might try to make that myself.
All right. So let's get into this morning's poll, guys.
Well, I have an unusually short poll.
We know that. We've heard it. Oh, sorry. Did I say that out loud?
This morning, everybody qualifier. So I saw
$20 tax. That's all you have to pay.
Yesterday that Minister Keith Scotland was making a walkabout in Port of Spain, heralding new joint police army patrols. Did you all see that?
Yeah,
Heralding.
Wednesday.
Heralding?
Well, it seemed to be a revitalized approach in the capital.
I praise them for it, actually.
So the question is,
do you think the police army joint patrols in Port of Spain will help lower crime in the capital city? That's our poll this morning on this Friday morning on the Power Breakfast Show. Do you think the police army joint patrols in Port of Spain will help lower crime in the capital city? 222-TALK, 222-8255, North Americans 866-525-1099, and that's absolutely toll-free to you, North Americans. And of course, people across our streaming devices and on streaming platforms, you can send your votes via the messaging portals there. And if you're watching us on M&E TV and listening to us on smart devices, you can WhatsApp us at 868-318-1021. So you have no reason not to vote. So do you think the police army joint patrols in Port of Spain will have lower crime in the capital city? That's our poll this morning. Let the voting begin.
All right, so 222-8255. Let's see. Starting off, Boy Badesi says yes. Michael Gradison celebrating his birthday on Sunday. Good morning to you. Wayne Joseph out in Ontario, Canada says yes. Wayne Bennett says yes. Keith Watkins says yes. Hector says yes. Birthday boy Michael Gradison says no. Alistair Hart says yes. Anthony Miguel says yes. Hi Ben says yes. Richard P. Knight says yes. Danrad says no. Vincent in the UK says yes to the poll. Captain Ron in Ethiopia says no. No, Captain Ron says yes. Rob says no. Somebody is wanting to get some information, please. Yeah, on what? So send it.
Tickets are available from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Queen's Hall box office. It has to be about that.
Gregory Bauer says yes to the poll. Anne Noel says yes. Julia S. Batiste says yes. CJ New York, yes. Michael Mapp, yes. Gloria Gray, yes. Michael Grandison's birthday is on the 10th of
Yes.
October. It's next week, Thursday.
It's Michael Robinson's birthday that is coming up on Sunday.
Oh, Robinson, I'm getting tied up. Gene Clark says yes. Chris J says yes. Richard, it's not Queen's Hall anymore. They're getting both. Black Pearl, I missed you. Where were you?
Queen's
I've been
Hall.
you for the week.
It's just renamed the auditorium. It's still Queen's Hall.
Yeah, it's still Queen's Hall.
Yeah, it's Queen's Hall.
All right, the auditorium is reading it. Black Pearl says no. Ray says yes. Ray is watching us on YouTube. All right. Do you think the police army joint patrols in Port of Spain will help lower crime in our beloved capital city? Yes or no? All right. Bobby. Bobby says yes, and Bobby's birthday is on Tuesday. All right, Bob, we had to hook up.
A lot of wannabe Scorpios in this. And
Sure. Lorna, morning, Lorna. Indy Carly says no. Thank you. Right. Let's see. You have a couple of minutes again to vote on our morning poll.
Do you think the police army joint patrols in Port of Spain will help lower crime in the capital city? That's our poll this morning. 222-TALK, 222-8255. North Americans, 866-525-1099. People on all streaming platforms, use the messaging portal there. And if you're watching us on M&E TV and listening to us elsewhere and on smart devices, WhatsApp us at 868-318-1021. You have various options in how you can vote, so use them.
All right. June Thomas says no. Catherine Henry says no. All right. Carol Guevara says yes. All right. And see, do you think police and army joint patrols in Port of Spain will help lower crime in the capital city?
Today. So good morning, Mrs. R. Good morning, Julia S. Batiste. Good morning, CJ.
Lennon Roberts says yes.
Huh? You know, we haven't heard from a while, Port of Spain.
Yeah,
I
but
saw him a couple of weeks ago.
I saw him during the PAN events the other day, though. You know, you don't miss PAN.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, I saw him. He has had a break some Port of Spain, you know, and he started to talk, brother. Sure. You had to wiggle your way out. You had to pretend somebody calling you. Or you had to do something that happened, yes. Good. You're not easy, no?
Trinity Jam says, hell no. Crime is totally out of control. Be safe. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, my dear.
Morning.
We could suggest sometimes a poll sometimes.
Yes, you can. We've done polls that people suggested already.
Okay.
You know you have spare polls.
I like the one on Dennis this morning. I think it's
And what would your poll have been?
anyhow. Pardon me?
What would your poll have been on Dennis?
If we think it's a good choice,
That's
we
not
send
a-
it.
That's
Anyhow,
not a
my
bad poll.
my answer is yes. I want to be optimistic on all your poll
Right.
this morning. Yes. Don't know if we don't try.
It's not all your
you.
poll, it's my poll.
Thank you,
Thank
Zena.
We took ownership of the poll, though, after Paul put it. We all took ownership of it. We all held it.
Stop while you're ahead now. Stop while you're ahead.
Yeah, the rabbit
Stop while you're ahead before
Very
you go down the rabbit hole and you get yourself in trouble.
I had to get out of the mood that I'm in, so leave me. I'm going to go down the rabbit hole now.
You know how to get out of the mood you're in.
Go drink some coffee.
You know exactly
all.
how to get out of the mood you're in.
Lennon,
Rabbit
did I
hole
do
help.
Lennon Roberts saying yes?
I enjoy a roti for you for a while. Maybe that might
Yeah.
help you today.
Today's a good day for that.
What, Steve? Eh? You count 5.
I not saying a word. I not saying a word, Paul.
Oh, Paul, you know why? You know why you should come? I have those T-shirts for you guys.
Okay. Okay. Well, then I'll deliver, and you will.
They're still in plastic.
All right.
And not many things you have are still in plastic. So.
No, I don't believe in it at all.
Paul, behave. Behave.
You know we have a guest
On
later
cue.
on, right?
Here comes Aviation
Program and
Hip-Hop
saying, what
with
am I
our
getting?
major news till 7 o'clock.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
The People's National Movement Tobago Council political leader Ansel Dennis says he's honored and ready to serve as a government senator. Opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissassa asks the public to stop, quote-unquote, washing their mouth on former PNM Senator Laura Lazama-Leasing. Chief Secretary Fali Augustine lays a motion at the THA plenary sitting demanding at least 5.8% of the fiscal package. A 39-year-old man is robbed of $40,000 after withdrawing money from a bank in Valsayn, and over $2 million without powers. Category 4 Helen makes landfall in the U.S. Details in a moment. This is News to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. I'm Avril Sintel-Bab. Good morning. The People's National Movement Tobago Council political leader Ansel Dennis says he's ready to serve as a government senator after being picked by the Prime Minister to replace Laura Lazama-Leasing, who's resigned as a senator in the wake of the recent interim court order given against her. He gave his undertaking hours after a 6 a.m. post on the Prime Minister's Facebook page on September 26, which revealed that Dr. Rowley had advised President Christine Kangaloo to appoint 37-year-old Dennis as a government senator in the wake of Lazama-Leasing's September 25th resignation. Lazama-Leasing's resignation came amid recent reports of an interim court-issued protection order filed against her by her estranged husband, Darren Leasing, son of former Port of Spain mayor businessman Louis Leasing. Lazama-Leasing categorically denied being capable of any such acts of domestic violence alluded to by the public after excerpts of the interim court order were made public on September 24th. Meanwhile, opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissassa is asking the public to stop washing their mouth on former PNM Senator Laura Lazama-Leasing. Persad-Bissassa says that she passes no judgment on Lazama-Leasing and urged people to do the same. She said heaping ridicule on Lazama-Leasing and her situation is not necessary. She implored the public to leave her or let her have some quiet peace. She said hopefully time and effort would heal open wounds so she could repair any damage. The opposition leader noted regarding the order against her that she will have a chance in court to clear her name. Persad-Bissassa said Lazama-Leasing is a young woman and there will always be problems, but hope that things would improve in the future. Just days before the 2025 budget presentation, Chief Secretary Fali Augustine laid a motion at yesterday's Tobago House of Assembly plenary sitting demanding at least 5.8% of the fiscal package, noting a long history of underfunding, with Tobago receiving only about 3% of the national budget from 1980 to 1996. He said that he came to the conclusion that the House needed to assemble before the national budget and to essentially call on the Minister of Finance to allocate to the THA no less than 5.8% of the national budget to meet Tobago's urgent developmental priorities and to address historical underfunding of Tobago so that they are able to grow at a pace that is equitable and equal to friends and family in Trinidad. The allocation increased slightly to 3.3% between 1996 and 2000, and the recommended range of 4.03 to 6.9% was proposed by the Dispute Resolution Committee in 2001. A 39-year-old man was robbed of $40,000 after withdrawing money from a bank in Valsayn. The man told police that on Wednesday morning he visited Republic Bank and withdrew the money. He then made his way to Savannah Drive in Chaguanas, where he parked and secured his Toyota Hilux along the road. He left the money in an envelope in the center console and went away. Upon returning around 11:40 a.m., he observed that the right side of the driver's window was broken. When he checked inside his vehicle, he realized the cash was missing. WPC Orozco is continuing investigations. Police yesterday again warned citizens not to make themselves soft targets for criminal elements, especially after making transactions from financial institutions. Escalating gang violence resulted in the shooting death this week of two men in Malik Barataria. Police believe that 46-year-old David Marisho, aka Lollipop, was killed as a result of escalating tensions between warring gangs in the Malik community. 11 spent 9mm shells were found where he was shot dead in Malik on Wednesday. Police reports state that at about 4:06 p.m., Marisho was standing near Mini Mart in Upper 6th Avenue, Malik, when gunshots were heard. Marisho, of no better trace off 10th Street, Malik, was found dead on the ground. A group of men was seen fleeing the scene. A team of officers led by Sergeant Campbell, Sergeant Ramkisoon, and Corporal Daniel, among others, responded. Police sources said that gang activities in the Malik community have increased recently due to a disagreement between two rival criminal organizations that operate in the area. This escalation was behind the shooting of 5 people in the vicinity of Roxanne's Learning Center along Johnny Basement Road, Upper 7th Avenue, Malik, on Wednesday. Killed in that incident were cousins Gerald Calise, 35, and 29-year-old Kimo Calise. Both lived in Upper 7th Avenue, Malik. The incident also resulted in 3 other people, including a 22-year-old man, a 48-year-old woman, and her 4-year-old godson being shot. The 3 injured remained at medical institutions in Port of Spain and Mount Hope up to 5 p.m. yesterday. You are listening to news on Power 102 Digital till 7 o'clock. In international news, Helene made landfall in Florida as a Category 4 hurricane and is now a tropical storm. It was the strongest hurricane on record to slam into Florida's Big Bend. Helene is one of the largest storms in the Gulf of Mexico in the last century, with a wind field that could span roughly the distance between Indianapolis and Washington, D.C. Watches and warnings are in place for 60 million people in 12 states. There have been at least 3 storm-related deaths. Catastrophic winds damaged from the storm could cause power outages and will likely take days or last days, if not weeks. Helene has also prompted schools and business closures, as well as flight cancellations. Finally, here's weather news for the period today till midnight. Trinidad and Tobago, fair to partly cloudy despite periods of increased cloudiness with accompanying light to moderate showers. There's a low to medium chance of the afternoon heavier shower and or thunderstorm. Nighttime will be mostly settled despite the isolated shower. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding may occur in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Expect a maximum temperature of 34 degrees Celsius at Piarco International Airport and 32 degrees Celsius at Crown Point in Tobago. Currently, the temperature at Piarco is 28 degrees Celsius. It is 26 degrees Celsius at Crown Point. Recapping your headlines to 7 o'clock, the People's National Movement's Tobago Council political leader Ansel Dennis says he's honored and ready to serve as a government senator. Opposition leader Kamala Persad-Bissassa asked the public to stop washing their mouths on former PNM Senator Laurel Lazama-Leasing. Chief Secretary Fali Augustin lays a motion at yesterday's THA plenary sitting demanding at least 5.8% of the fiscal package. A 38-year-old man is robbed of $40,000 after withdrawing money from a bank in Valsain, and over 2 million people are without power as Category 4 Helene makes landfall in the United States. I'm Avril Sintel-Barb. That was news to 7 o'clock on Power 102 Digital. Look out for more news to detail at 12 noon and an update at 8 o'clock this morning. For more details, log on to power102fm.com.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Alrighty, thank you so much, Avril, for our major news. You could join her again. Come at 8 o'clock for a news brief, and then alongside Sir Charles for major news again at noon. Take a look at traffic. Your traffic on Uriah Solo starts at Freeport to Sugar Gorge. It's eased up a bit after Couva, but Charlieville towards the interchange to Port of Spain, yeah, you got it. You got some traffic there in usual spots. All right. Let's see if we have any more votes. We do indeed. We have David Wares saying no. We have Mrs. R saying yes. Antonio Butt says yeah. Let's see if we have on WhatsApp. We have Val, morning Val, saying no. And then we have, okay, somebody didn't put a name to it, but okay. Linton and Kim Gavaya celebrating their 28th wedding anniversary today. So Linton and Kim Gavaya, happy anniversary to you guys. Have a great one. 28.
Guys, I neglected to express condolences to David Mohammed and his family on the passing of his mom.
Oh, really? Oh, I didn't know.
Belgrave. She passed away. Her funeral is coming up. I reached out to him yesterday because I saw the post and I didn't realize she had passed.
I didn't realize it was recent.
Yes, I thought that's it. I didn't realize it was recent.
I didn't realize it was recent. So condolences, David.
Condolences, David. Condolences to you, David.
And he had a rough time last year too, wasn't it?
Yeah, yes.
His son, I think his son passed.
His son.
The year before.
I think that was the year before.
And his dad.
And his dad. So condolences, David.
I think his dad was last year.
Yeah. So condolences, David, on the passing.
Yeah. Very much so, David. Very much so.
Yeah.
Haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah.
All right. So Richard says, Salim Abdullah says yes. He just snuck in. So let's get the results, Wendell. Richard.
Well, the poll this morning was, and is, do you think the police army joint patrols in Port of Spain will help lower crime in the capital city? We had 37 people voting in the allotted time that we gave for voting. And of the 37 people, 27 of you said yes. You do think that the police army joint patrols in Port of Spain will help lower crime in the capital city. And 10 of you said, no, not so much. You don't buy it. So we'll see. But the yeas have it this morning. And of course, you can continue to vote on the poll this today and throughout the weekend. And we'll give you the final results on Monday morning.
Yeah. Right. Of course, it'll stay up on our mobile app and our website at power102fm.com. All right. 13 minutes after the hour is 7 o'clock. Let's welcome Michael Fitzpatrick, Consular Chief at the U.S. Embassy. Say good morning to you. And good morning to Charlene walking around with the purple scarf. Good morning, Charlene.
I saw her.
Hope all is well, Charlene.
Charlene says good morning as well. Thank you all so much for inviting me here. It's great to be here.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Mike, we can call you Mike, right?
Yes, please.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I call my son Mikey, so but
I prefer Mike, not Michael.
You prefer Mike. All right. We'll do Mike then.
We'll do Mike.
Good morning, Mike. There are a couple of welcome changes coming up at the U.S. Embassy in Port of Spain. First of all, we like the fact that there'll be now online payments for tourist visas. Is that so? Let's hear more about that.
Yes, that's one of the things we're very excited about. You can still pay at Scotiabank if you like, but now, and most people do this now, is you can pay using a credit card, you can pay online. That makes the process of applying for a visa a little bit easier. And something else that we're very excited and proud of is, the wait time to get an interview has really gone down. We've done a lot of work these last couple of years. 2 years ago, around this time, it was about 340 days, due to the pandemic. But we've gotten that down to where it's just, it's just a couple of weeks now, and sometimes even less. So this is a great time to apply for a visa if you want to travel to the United States. The process shouldn't take you very long. I still think, do it as early as you can. But it'll take you a lot less time than it would before.
Mike, I know that the U.S. officials are not obligated to give an explanation or reason as to why they would have refused a visa. But I'll give you an example of someone who recently applied, a girl who recently applied. And she said she had all her documents and she was asked two questions. One, is she married? She said no. Mind you, she lives common law with someone for the last 5 years. And then she was asked, does she have any children? And she said no. And that was it. she was refused the visa. Explain what should someone do in an incident like that? Are they allowed to give an explanation as to that I am living common law with someone for more than 5 years? The person is a serving member of the TTPS and they're steady and whatnot. Should that explanation be forthcoming?
Well, I can't speak about individual cases. I can only talk, generally about the visa interview. And before I give a more specific answer, I just want to make sure that people know that, by far the majority of our applicants are approved for the visas, about 75%. So 3 out of every 4 do get the visa. But basically what we're looking for in the interview is that you have a situation here in Trinidad or Tobago, ties that will compel you to return after a short visit, and that when you're in the United States temporarily, you'll properly use the visa. On a tourist visa, you can't work, you can't study. So those are the things that we're looking for. But as for the common law marriage, that's very common. And yes, please, do say I am in a common law marriage. We understand that that's a common situation here. And people can be, we have cases where people have been common law married for 20, 25 years. They have 3 or 4 kids. And, that's the same as a real marriage, as a regular marriage. So, yes, that is a fact that you do. If you're asked that question, you certainly do want to give that answer.
Right. Okay. I appreciate that because the person also owns a property here too. I neglected to mention that.
Yeah. I have another question too, because they asked me that this week. So let me throw it out to you. He's a 20-year-old chap. He is employed. He has nothing under his name. And he asked me, can he apply for a U.S. visa? And I said, yes, you can. I said, when are you going to travel? He said he does not know, but he just wants to get a U.S. visa in case his aunt wants him to come up. He doesn't have to go through the process. But then he asked me what he should carry to the embassy that they will need. I said, well, first you have to go online and make an appointment, and they'll contact you with a date and time and so on. And I also told him carry whatever documentation you have, such as the only thing he would have would be a job letter and where he lives. Is there anything he needs? And can someone actually apply for a visa not knowing when they travel?
Yes, you can. But just you have to give an honest answer to the interviewing officer and say, I don't have any immediate plans, but in the future I will be traveling, to visit my aunt or for another reason. And as for documentation, anything that you think that shows that, your ties, that you have a good situation here in Trinidad, you're welcome to bring that. But I will say in a lot of cases, the officer won't look at the documentation. It's really based on the interview, the questions and answers. And then sometimes, yes, we will ask for a job letter, and because the interview is the most important part. And I would like to say one thing about documentation is, unfortunately, we have seen an uptick in people with fake documents. We have seen people with false job letters, with fake bank statements. And this can, we've got a very good fraud team at the embassy, and we're getting very good at detecting that. So we really, it's not a good idea to do this. We've been working in partnership with the TTPS, and submitting fake documentation is against the law here in Trinidad. So if you try to do that, you might not only not get the visa and be ineligible for a visa for the rest of your life, but you might get in trouble with the local law enforcement as well. So, we do look at documents occasionally, but the most important part is the interview. And if you are going to bring documents, make sure that, everything on there is the truth. Don't try to pass something off.
Do not underestimate the long reach of Uncle Sam.
Well, it's our partners in the local law enforcement have been very helpful with this, because it's breaking local law to claim that you have to claim that you're a police officer when you're not, or to submit a fake a made up bank statement is against the law here. So. They've been the TTPS has been very, very great in working with us on that.
Tell us about the relaunch of the STEP for STEP for American citizens.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that. That's very important. We do have a lot of American citizens here in Trinidad. Most of them are dual nationals. And the STEP program, the Smart Traveler Enrollment Program, is the method by which we can be in contact with them. We'll send them out messages with information. If they're, during the hurricane a few months ago, we sent out a lot of messages. And we're moving to a new STEP model, an upgraded, better program. But what it means is that people have to re-register with us. They need to go to step.state.gov. And even if you're registered now, in about 3 or 4 weeks, the registration will no longer be valid. So you've got to go there and register once again. And that way you'll get all the messages that we need to send out. And if we need to get in touch with you for some reason, we'll have your contact information.
So the new process is already active.
It is active, but for a couple more weeks, the old process, the old registration will still be valid. But around October 16th or 17th, I believe, it'll only the new people that have re-registered will be getting our messages. So it's very important for all of our U.S. citizens here to do that. And another reminder for U.S. citizens, you may have heard we have an election coming up in about 6 weeks. Very important election, and so you can vote from Trinidad. You can do what's called an absentee ballot, but you really need to look into it if you haven't started the process yet. You go to fvap.gov, fvap.gov. And then, in the U.S. elections, every state has sort of a different process. So you'll go to that website and you'll put in the state that you live in, where you're resident, and it'll explain the process to you for being able to vote in the election from Trinidad. So I encourage all American citizens, it's your duty to vote. Go, if you haven't started the process, please do. Please start it today.
And just repeat the website one more time.
fvap.gov, fvap.gov.
Michael, can we go back a bit to the online payment for tourist visas? Is it active now, or is it coming up in the near future?
Oh, it's active. It's been active
already.
About 6 months.
Okay.
And yeah, I would say maybe, I don't have the exact numbers, but I'd say about 2/3 of our applicants are now paying online. They're not having to take the trip to the bank. So it makes the process a little bit easier.
Can dual citizens vote in the upcoming election, Mr. Matt?
Yeah.
Yes. Anybody who's an American citizen, doesn't matter whether you have another nationality or not, you're eligible to vote. You just need to get the information and get the process going.
Okay.
What are some of the process for application for the American visa is now an online filling out of a form. So you go online, am I correct? And it's quite an extensive form, because you could pause it and take a while and come back and take a cup of coffee or whatever and do it, because it's
there
pretty
are a couple steps. There are a couple steps.
There are a number of steps.
No doubt.
Right?
So first you need to go online, and you can start at the embassy website. Just search U.S. Embassy, Port of Spain, and click on visas. You go online and you fill out an online application. And once you've done that, then you'll register at our appointment website, and then you pay the fee, which you can now do online, and then you'll get an appointment. And a lot of people now, they don't need to come in for the interview. They can do what we call the interview waiver process. When you're on our website, our appointment website, you'll be asked a couple of questions, a series of questions, and depending on how you answer that, you'll either be asked to come in for an interview, or you'll be able to submit your documents via TT Post.
I'm glad you mentioned who is eligible, because I know a couple who were renewing visas and who had documents inside, and they were able to access that non-interview option. Is there an eligibility criteria for that from the embassy's perspective?
Yes, there is. And generally, there's always some exceptions, but generally, if you've had a visa that expired less than 4 years ago, then you don't need to come in for an interview. Like I said, there'll be some exceptions, but in almost every case, you won't be required to come in for an interview. It's just important that you answer the questions properly on the appointment website, because we do get people that come in for interviews that really don't need to be there.
Right. So, and I'll give you an example of that one because it happened to me myself. Because I've always had the benefit of a U.S. visa over the years, and I had applied, and I had also applied for that how to
Interview.
put it,
Interview waiver
the waiver,
program.
but it didn't allow me, and it asked me to come in. So I went in there, and I was literally asked nothing. I presented my passport. Okay, Mr. Steven, thank you. And that was it. I got my visa back in DHL, through DHL.
Okay. Yeah, it is. It is a little complicated. There's about 7 or 8 questions that you'll be asked. They're yes/no questions, and you don't need to answer the same answer. It's not all yes or all no. Sometimes people think that, and there's one particular question that's asking you if you have any an annotation on your visa, if there's any writing on your visa. And people unfortunately answer that incorrectly. In most cases, there isn't writing on your visa, but there'll be, if there is, there'll be like a separate message saying, traveling for a certain purpose, going to Miami. But if there's nothing like that on there, then the answer to that question would be no. So some people do get that question wrong.
I've noticed too, Mike, that in some instances, when you enter the United States, they don't even stamp your passport anymore. They just ask you to go before the camera, and they just fold your passport, have a good day, and that's it. What would cause something like that?
Okay, well, that's immigration. That's a different part of the government.
Okay.
But they do have a lot of electronic things now. They're doing a lot of it electronically now. So, I mean, your entry is still being put down, is still being recorded. It's a much easier process.
It's much less people and stuff involved.
Yeah, hopefully someday we'll get away from having paper visas at all. That's a goal of the State Department, but it's we're not there yet.
You mentioned the waiver option for interview and some of the common mistakes. What are some of the other common mistakes people make when filling out that online form for the appointment generally? Because it's a long form, it's intense, and I guess people, if they don't understand the questions being asked, they can make some mistakes. So can you identify some of the common mistakes people make in terms of what they're filling out?
Well, what we see is, this is on the application itself.
Yes.
Is that a lot of people don't fill out the application themselves. They go to a service, and a lot of those services are fine. If they're going to cost, you're going to pay where you can do it yourself. And if you're not great on the computer, you can have your daughter or your son or your grandchild help you fill that out. That's what we really encourage. But sometimes some of these services will put in answers that they think are better, but may not be the truth. And that can get you in trouble. They may change your job salary, or they may change, your position, or how long you stayed in the United States. And the applicant is responsible for everything that's on that application. So if you are using a service to fill out your application, be sure that everything that they write down on there is correct and is the truth, because you're responsible for that.
That's important information, and what you just said is very important, because you're right. I think a lot of people embellish some of those applications because they think it will work in your favor.
And no, it won't. Yeah. I mean, the truth is the best. Yes. Like I said, 75% of our applicants are getting visas. Most people are. And if you do not tell us the truth, there's a very good chance we're going to find out. We've been doing this for a long time, and then you really hurt your chances of ever being able to.
Including, have you filled out this form on your own or with the assistance of someone? I think that's one of the checkoff questions.
Yes, if somebody else fills it out, they need to write. The person needs to write in their name. Whoever filled out the form, if it's not the applicant themselves.
Yeah.
What's another question, Mike, that I think that dissuades a lot of people, and they think they're not going to get a visa. And I had spoken to a U.S. immigration lawyer about it at one point. Considering somebody would ask me the question, being a lawyer, I wasn't sure. They ask you about offenses, if you've ever been arrested, not convicted, if you've ever been arrested. And sometimes, of course, in a Trinidad and Tobago situation, you can have what's the best way to put it?
Arrests that don't lead to convictions.
Arrests that don't lead to convictions, and arrests that can be somewhat vindictive at times, emanating from the TTPS.
Yeah, we understand that. We do have, we ask that question because then we want to see how the case played out. And if the case was dismissed, if you were found not guilty, then it's not an ineligibility, but we will need to see that. So, if you have been arrested, I really encourage you to bring along court documents that show the.
But if you've been not arrested and not charged, there's no court document involved.
If you were arrested, you should still. If you were, I mean, there still has to be some kind of document showing that they didn't charge you.
Yeah.
There's some documentation, from the police, if not from the court, showing that you were never charged for anything.
I don't think there is, Mike. I don't think there is a document that tells you that you've not been charged.
Right.
You'll not be.
Well, you can ask for your police record.
Yeah. Well, right.
You can ask for a record, yes. And we'll have
It would indicate that there is no. You're right. It would indicate there is no conviction.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the question just means that we want to see, how the case played out and what the final result was. And if you're not convicted, then that doesn't make you ineligible for a visa.
Right. Well, let's extend that question a little further. You've been arrested, you've been charged, but your conviction is let's say community service or community work. It's not a hard conviction. How do you treat with a matter like that?
Well, that gets into the very specifics of U.S. immigration law. So it's a complicated question, and we'd probably have to do a little research. It depends on what you were convicted of. Some are automatic ineligibilities. Others, which are much lesser crimes, are not. They don't lead to an automatic ineligibility. So we would need to see what the conviction was, and then try to parallel it to our legal system.
I think how it's phrased is. I think how it's phrased is crimes of moral turpitude.
That's one of them. Yes. If it's a crime of moral turpitude, and there's a long list of those, if it is a crime of moral turpitude, or if it's a bigger crime, in general, we have a distinction between a misdemeanor and a felony in U.S. law. And in general, again, most misdemeanors would not be crimes of moral turpitude, but felonies would.
Yeah.
So it's complicated. We'd have to do some research. We'd have to see the documentation. So there's no one size fits all answer to that.
Right. So let me give an example. The
best thing to do is just don't commit the crime.
Right. So let me give an example then. Prior to, only recently, Trinidad and Tobago would have decriminalized certain amounts of marijuana, right? So, and a lot of the young people would have been charged in the past with having one joint of marijuana, which is now not a criminal offense. How would you treat with a matter like that if someone comes before you with that type of charge in the past that is no longer a criminal charge now?
Well, again, it's complicated. Have those cases been removed from the record because of the decriminalization, or are they still considered to be criminal convictions?
Only 49.
Part of it. And then also, drug use can also be an ineligibility. So depending on how recent it is, so we may ask the person to go visit a physician. It depends. Every case is a little bit different. These are cases that we spend a lot of time on and make sure that we follow the U.S. immigration law.
Okay. Let me ask a question when it comes to expediting getting a visa. I know someone that was supposed to go to a conference. The company paid a lot of money for him to go to this conference, but 2.5 weeks before, he had a family emergency and could not go. His second in command decided to send his second in command. He had a passport, but he didn't have a visa. And they put in an application to expedite and so on. Of course, the long and short of the story is that he didn't get a visa in time. And then he just had 2.5 weeks to get a visa. How long does it really take to expedite a visa?
We grant expedited appointments for some basic reasons, family emergencies, marriages, funerals, family members in hospitals, and important business travel as well. But still, the process can take a few days. And we never know, if everything goes quickly, we can do it in a couple of days, but it may take a little bit longer in some other cases. And one thing I did want to make sure that I had a chance to mention is that The registration for the 2026 diversity visa is coming up in a couple of days. It starts on October. Let me make sure I get the right date here. On October 2nd, and it lasts through November 5th. And this is an opportunity for people to apply to get a visa to immigrate, live and work in the United States. The diversity visa program, we grant 55,000 people the right to immigrate every year. So the process, if you're interested, the process starts on, the registration process starts on October 2nd. And you can find out more information about that if you go to travel.state.gov. And travel.state.gov. It's a great website by the State Department. It has tons of information about traveling and living and being in different countries. And you search for a diversity visa.
Two questions based on that
program, and we really encourage people to, if you do want to immigrate, to look into applying.
One, what are the conditions that someone who may be wanting to option the diversity visa needs to consider before applying? Because very often people apply for it and do not realize there's serious conditionalities attached to it. If you are successful, you're required to move within a certain time, and I think stay for a particular length of time because you've applied to immigrate. And two, does registration for that, if you are unsuccessful, affect future applications for non-residential visas?
No, it doesn't. No, I mean, we have so many people register for the diversity visa, and it shows that, that yes, you might want to, one of your dreams might be to one day live and work in the United States, but it shows that you're trying to do it the correct way, through the proper channels. A couple of facts about registering: it's free, and you can do it yourself. Again, there are services that are out there. But it's better to apply yourself and to keep track of the whole program yourself, because there's a lot of scams around our diversity visa. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that will send out emails saying you've won the diversity visa. You just have to send $800 to this address, and that's not how it works. It's free to register. You can only register once. You do have to have either a high school education or a couple of years at work in certain professions. All the information is on the website. But never believe anybody. You will never get an email saying that you've won and send money. What you'll do is you'll get a number, and then next summer, when they announce the people that are moving on to the interview phase, you'll go into the website with that number and check the status of your case. So any email that you ever might receive saying that you've won the diversity visa, is a scam.
Mike, what are some of the reasons why the U.S. would revoke a visa?
There's a lot of different reasons. It's improper use of the visa. Somebody stays too long. Somebody commits a crime in the United States. Anything that shows that the visa has not been properly used. A number of times the revocations are what we call prudential revocations, and they mean that what it means is you've got to come back, or if you're outside of the country, you've got to apply again, and then we'll have a chance to look more carefully at your case. It doesn't automatically mean that you've done something horrible. In some cases it does if you have, but in a lot of other cases it's just that we want to take a second look. We want you to come in and apply again.
Would it be automatic then, if you've lost your passport with a visa, a valid visa in it, that you would automatically get the visa again?
Not automatic, but if you properly use the visa, if you haven't done or if your situation here in Trinidad hasn't taken a real bad turn for the worse, it's very, very likely your situation will be the same, and you've traveled well. Then yes, you would qualify again.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So of course we've covered the tourist visa appointments that shorten significantly the time to receive.
And please, take advantage of that. Come in and apply now. We're going to do our best to keep those wait times short, but you never know. So this is a great time to apply.
Someone is asking what a student in nursing school needs to apply for in terms of a visa.
To go and study nursing in the United States?
I guess study. Yeah.
That would be the student visa. That's a different process. You'd need to apply to a nursing school in the United States and be accepted. And then they would send you a document called an I-20. And once you have that I-20 document, then the process is very similar, except for when you're filling out the application form, you say you're applying for a student visa.
No, the person is saying that she is in school here, but I guess looking to get is it a visitor's visa, Aries born? And while she's typing that, someone else is asking, does a lost expired visa create a problem?
No. If you've lost 3 visas in the last 5 years, yes, that could be a problem. But we understand people lose passports, lose a visa. So if an expired visa, that just means you had a visa before. So that's certainly not a problem. But for the tourist, for the B1, B2, which is the basic tourist business visa, it's the process we've already talked about it, regardless of whether you're in a nursing, you're going to training for nursing here or any other profession.
Well, she's saying she's a full-time nursing student here, so I'm presuming that she's applying for a visitor's visa, which is a normal visitor's visa process.
Right, it would be the same process that we talked about.
Yeah. What if you had a visa, but it expired before you had the opportunity to travel due to changing circumstances? Does that affect your eligibility or potential for getting a new visa?
The fact that you didn't travel on your old visa? No, it doesn't. We'll ask you a question. Most of the visas that we give are 10 years, so you do have a lot of time to travel. But, if you have a valid reason for, oh, yes, I applied for the visa and I got it, but then this happened.
So but don't they still do one entry 1 year or something like that?
Well, there are times when we will give a shorter visa. There are times when people are going for a specific purpose, sometimes maybe a sports team or a school group or something like that, where we will issue a shorter visa that could be 1 entry, it could be 2 entries, it could be for 6 months. But that doesn't happen that often. In almost every case, we give the multi-entry 10 years.
I'm glad you mentioned that. What about, because Trinidad and Tobago is a very rich cultural country. So very often there are groups, sporting groups and cultural groups who apply en masse. Is that process the same? And what are the eligibility criteria for those circumstances? Because a lot of groups in Trinidad and Tobago, music groups, arts and culture groups, seek to travel to the U.S. for one exchange programs and or to perform. Are there different circumstances under which someone should apply for those visas?
Yes, there are. And, we are working with a lot of our contacts in the Ministry of Culture and Foreign Affairs. We just reached out to the National Carnival Commission, and we're trying to set up a meeting with them to explain some of the rules about performing in the United States. But there, with very few exceptions, if you're going to be paid to perform, then you need a P visa or an O visa. You need a visa that requires a petition. And if you're a professional performer, if you're normally paid to perform here in Trinidad, then unless you're going on an exchange program sponsored by the Trinidad government, and the performance in the United States is for a non-paying audience, then you do need a performer visa. However, if it's an amateur group and you're not going to be paid in the United States except for maybe expenses, then it is possible to do it on a regular B1, B2 visa. And what I would encourage the groups that want to do that is get this organized on time. The issue we often see is these end up, they ask for expedites.
We want to leave next week, Monday.
2 days, 3 days, and it's not organized that well. They don't, the band members don't know exactly where they're playing or what the audience is like. So, try to get all this arranged as early as you can, and make sure that everybody that interviews is fully informed about the situation, where you're performing, whether you're being paid, whether the audience is paying.
I'm glad you brought up that.
All those things.
This might seem like a really basic question, Mike, but what does the U.S. Embassy consider work in the U.S.? It sounds like a very basic question, but what comes under the category where you have to apply for a visa to work in the U.S.? Are there strict parameters within which it's considered work?
Well, if you are receiving money in the United States, there are a couple of small exceptions, but if you're receiving money in the United States, that's working, and you need a work visa, some kind of work visa or performer visa. Now, business, if you're going to set up a business deal, but your company's in Trinidad and your salary's coming from Trinidad, you're just going there to buy products to ship back to Trinidad or to have meetings with another company. That's a business visa. That's a B1. So you can do that on the B1, B2, the business tourism.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you're going to earn money that's paid in the United States
From a U.S. source.
From a U.S. source, yes.
Okay, understood.
Yeah.
Mike,
But I'm sure there are a lot of people that have a visitor's visa that will just go up there and conduct their business and come down. Is there any which way you'd know if they're conducting business and receiving money?
Well, conducting business is different from working. I mean, conducting business is setting something up for your company here, setting up some kind of importation or an agreement with a U.S. company. But the company is here in Trinidad, and any money that you're earning is coming from outside of the United States.
Mike, if I'm not mistaken, one of your questions refers to politically exposed people, PEPs. How do you generally treat with someone who's politically exposed?
I'm not familiar with that. I'm not sure that's politically exposed.
Never seen that yet.
Before. So I'm not sure. That's not in one of our questions.
It's not part of your questioning.
No.
Okay.
You're mixing up the banks here, Wendell.
Yeah. and quickly for me, Mike, what is the approximate wait time presently for a visitor's visa?
The wait time right now is about 11 or 12 days.
Okay, less than 2 weeks.
And it goes, and it got down to like 3 days a couple of weeks ago, and it varies. It varies by week, but our goal is to keep it within a few weeks, and hopefully it'll stay that way.
Following the interview, is it that I know some people are immediately told you're approved, and some people will be told in some hours? Is there a general wait time for approval if you're not told immediately that you've been granted the visa at the interview counter or online?
Just about everybody gets told at the counter, but if not, then no, it can depend. Sometimes we're waiting on you to send us a document. Sometimes we're waiting on one of our systems to give us an answer. So it can depend, and unfortunately, there are a few cases where you may have to wait a while before you get a final answer.
All right.
I thought once your passport is kept, you're approved.
Well, if we keep your passport, yeah. But if there is going to be, if we think the process is going to take more than a couple of days, we'll give you back your passport, and then we'll contact you when the final decision is made and ask you to send it in.
Oh, okay. Well, I've never heard of an instant like that.
It doesn't happen very often. I mean, almost everybody is approved right at the window.
Right.
Really? Okay.
And can a company in the U.S. apply for a working visa on your behalf if they want to hire you?
Yes, they can. There are certain there are certain regulations, but the company has to start that process. They have to get a petition approved by immigration in the United States. And then once the petition is approved, the person here will get notice of that, and they'll apply for one of our work visas and come in and talk to us.
Excellent. Michael, you have been so helpful this morning.
Yeah.
Very much.
Is there anything that you wanted to talk about that?
A lot of information.
No, we've hit just about everything. Just a reminder to our U.S. citizens, absentee voting is very important, and please re-register in our STEP system. And all the information, you can find it at the U.S. Embassy website, tt.usembassy.gov.
Thank you, Charlene.
I'm going to be a bit mischievous now, Michael. Don't answer this question. Do not answer this question. But maybe you all could do some training for other immigration centers.
That would be interesting. Are you speaking of some of our friendly other countries?
Yes, that's exactly what you're speaking
It's
about. Canada.
7:49 on a beautiful Friday
Speaking
morning.
about Canada.
It means how efficient your processes are.
Well,
And
we
how-
talk to them.
and how
We learn
limited-
from them, they learn from us.
And how
we
well
have a
you
good
explained
relationship.
everything this morning, I'm actually very impressed with him. That's why I said
Yes.
it was very helpful in terms of the clarity with which you've provided the information that people are asking on the chat, and they're getting really clear, concise answers. That's very appreciated. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
And the
thank you for
lottery,
having me. I really appreciate
the
it.
lottery system starts on next week Wednesday, the 2nd of October, and runs till
2nd of
November.
October. November 5th. You can
November
register
5th.
for the diversity visa. Between October 2nd and November 5th.
Right.
I'll do it just for you.
And the website to vote on is what again?
FVAP.gov. Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so please visit.
Wonderful.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Go eat some doubles now, Mike.
All right. I will do.
How long have you been?
I really appreciate
How long
it.
have you been in Trinidad, Mike?
About a year now. So
About a year?
yeah, starting to get a good feel for the place. Enjoying myself.
Yeah. What do you love about Trinidad?
I like Tobago. I've been there a few times. And one of my favorite places to go is the Bamboo Cathedral. I like to do that walk, a couple times a month. I get there very early on Sunday morning, right when the sun is just about coming up, and it's a beautiful walk. It's a good workout too.
And then
What's your favorite local food?
My favorite, I like chow. I like that spicy mango or spicy pineapple. It's healthy and it's got some bite to it. So that's definitely my favorite.
All right. Mike, thanks. Have a good weekend.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you,
All right.
Charlene.
Great weekend.
All the best to you guys.
Yeah,
Take
thanks
care.
a lot.
Bye.
All right. Of course, that was Mike Fitzpatrick speaking to us from the U.S. Embassy.
Wouldn't it be great?
Consular chief, and he's the
Wouldn't
chief.
Yeah, he's considered chief. Wouldn't it be great if you could train some of the people locally? I know. I gotta ask my boss. I know them. I don't know. Them crazy here. I don't know.
Oh, Lord.
You know,
We've been fortunate to interview a lot of U.S. officials, but he's been the clearest thus far. Some of them they just go down on one track. They keep saying, "Well, everything has to be treated on its own accord." They keep answering that same question all over. But he was very.
No, we had another chap who was like that. The Australian chap that loved cricket.
Yes, I remember.
He was his name now.
He had one answer for everything.
Yeah.
I remember him.
But I know someone that came into the country a week and a half ago, and they were surprised that the immigration officer did not look at them once.
Yeah, I've never had a bad immigration
Look at them.
I've had to wait once or twice, but I've never had a bad experience at immigration. Honestly, never. Even at customs.
Neither have I, to be very honest.
Yeah.
But we really need to do away with this. Is immigration paper to come into the country? That's form.
Yeah.
Are you mad? You'll take 10 years to get a smart city, or you want to do a green and open the phone.
It didn't take 10 years. Don't exaggerate.
Penny only now going back there. Don't try
take
that.
9 years.
Don't play a pong in Penny there.
And where those automatic passport readers? Where those machines?
They're right there. Block up. They're right there. Block up in the with some board when you're going in. Right there.
Ask Ed.
They're right there. There are machines right there when you're walking into immigration, walking into the area by the gates where they check. They see some board block up there. They're right behind that board.
Let me tell you something in Jamaica. You go in Jamaica, you better have everything ready. You have a form to fill out online before you get there. You also have to walk with your yellow fever vaccine. Let me tell you that one time. The first thing they ask you for when you touch down is your yellow fever vaccine. Then if you have not filled out that form online, there are machines there. You have to go and fill it out first before you approach a counter. When you go to that, there are machines now again you have to go to. Jamaica is very rigid in terms of entering. Trust me. And as I say, the first thing they're asking you for is your yellow fever vaccination form. Just remember that. Right.
222 talk.
Yeah, we have a couple of minutes to take some calls, so let's grab them. Good morning. Morning.
Good morning, Steve.
Morning there. We have short time. Go ahead.
Yes. Good morning to everybody on the Power Breakfast team.
Good morning.
So maybe you all can answer this question for me. Okay, my visa expired 2021 during COVID, as well as my two children. So from listening to him just now, I have 4 years within which to renew. That's for me. But my children were like 6 and 10 years old at that time. So I wanted to ask now, when I'm renewing, but I know they will have to go because they are young adults now. But do I have to go with them like how I used to go before, or they have to do it on their own?
Once they're adult, a parent can't go with them.
Yeah, once you're over 18.
So then, okay, my daughter is at school. So then what? She has to go in with us by herself and what?
No, she's under 18?
No, she's 19 actually.
Yeah.
So she's an adult.
She could go in a school uniform.
She's a student, a UE student.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, she's over 18, so she's an adult. She's considered an adult, so she can go in alone.
All right. I just want to find out that. So then
all right.
She wouldn't have no paper to say bank statement to say that she have to have information from me.
Yes, but what you can do is, because at 18-year-old, kind of several of my friends whose children are just turned over 18, and because they have no personal ties themselves, individual ties, they go with their parents who provide and say, I'm providing support for this child, etc., etc. You know?
Okay then.
Right. Aries born, when we ask about the question that you were typing, he said, if you as a nursing student in Trinidad Tobago, you're applying for a visitor's visa, it's a normal visitor's visa process. If you're applying for a student visa to study nursing in the US, it's a normal student visa that you have to ask for. So it depends on what you want to go for.
Exactly. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Carol here.
Hey, Carol here. How you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Richard, morning.
Morning.
Good to see you. One of your biggest fans, or probably your biggest fan's birthday is on Sunday. So I wanted to wish her happy birthday. That's Wendy Charles.
Uh-huh.
You remember Wendy Charles?
Yes, I remember Wendy. Yes, I remember Wendy.
No,
that's my sister, you know.
Huh?
That's my sister.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's my sister. And her birthday is on Sunday. So wish her happy birthday, please.
Okay, happy birthday, Wendy. I hope all is well. I see Wendy. When was the last time I saw Wendy? Some place she came to.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah. All right.
Happy birthday, Wendy.
Okay, good.
All the best here. All right, chaps, let's wrap up the week.
A little
Have a
minute
great
for the
weekend.
Richard and Carol show.
Be safe. Run support theater this weekend.
Yeah, I'll probably come and sit in theater and relax my brain. My brain needs relaxing. Bad.
You're not going cricket? When is cricket again?
Cricket is tonight.
Only
More than likely, I'll go. Once I get an invite, I'll go.
Yep. Are you passing a pick me up this time?
Once I get an invite,
I get an invite.
I invite somebody if I get an invite.
Well, yeah, sure. Can I bring someone? Can someone accompany me?
You understand it? Folks, have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Paul Richards, I look forward to my roti. The small one, please. The mini one, that is. And folks, just have a wonderful weekend. And remember to let go and let God. Take care.
Is it beef, Wendell?
Beef with chana, mini, no pepper. That's what it is.
All right, have a fantastic day, people, whatever you do. And remember that theater is on this weekend. Support theater always. So it's on this weekend. Brand new comedy, That's Extravagant News. What happens in the dark comes to light at Queen's Hall at the brand new redeemed Winifred Atwell Auditorium on Saturday at 8:30 and Sunday at 6:30. Tickets are $250 and $300 and are available at all the usual outlets and at the Queen's Hall box office from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. And tickets also available at our usual outlets, Electronics Arima, Jabili Rabbit, Tunapuna, Charfley Auto Services, and Tony's Florals in Valbach Shopping Plaza, and K-Squared Fashions as West Mall, Eastgate, and Brentwood Mall in Chagonas. You can also check RSRR Productions Theatre Facebook and Instagram page for more information, including how to purchase tickets online. Have a fantastic weekend. The weekend is here. The weekend has begun. Put a smile on your face, and if you want to distress, come to theater. You also have theater on Sunday at the CLR Cipriani College Auditorium. Ridiculous 6.5. That show begins at 7. Have a great weekend, whatever you do, and remember to smile and laugh. It's great for your health.
All right, gentlemen, do have a great weekend as well. Be safe in all that you do. All right, let's get into our 8 o'clock news brief. AV is in.
This is your news bulletin from Power 102 Digital.
It is time for your news update to 8 o'clock. I'm Afril Sintil-Bab. Good morning. The People's National Movement Tobago Council political leader Ansel Dennis says he's ready to serve as a government senator after being picked by the Prime Minister to replace Laurel Lazama-Leasing, who resigned as a senator in the wake of the recent interim court order given against her. He gave his undertaking hours after a 6 a.m. post on the Prime Minister's Facebook page on September 26th, which revealed that Dr. Rowley had advised President Christine Kangaloo to appoint 37-year-old Dennis as a government senator in the wake of Lazama-Leasing's September 25th resignation. Meanwhile, opposition leader Kamla Persad-Bissassa is asking the public to stop washing their mouths on former PNM Senator Laura Lazama-Leasing. Persad-Bissassa says that she passes no judgment on Lazama-Leasing and urged the people to do the same. She said heaping ridicule on Lazama-Leasing and her situation is not necessary and implored the public to let her have some quiet and peace. Investigations continue into the murder of 30-year-old Randall John, a security officer from Gasparillo, who was shot dead at his home early yesterday morning. Investigators say John and his common-law wife were in bed around 1:26 a.m. when they heard someone knocking on the front door. John got up to see who it was, and moments later, several gunshots rang out. A Santa Cruz man who gunmen attempted to kill last December was ambushed and shot multiple times at his home early yesterday morning. According to police reports, 46-year-old Joseph Spencer only returned to the area some 2 months ago. He was a father of one and lived alone in a modest house at Vicky Trace Lacano. Residents say they heard gunshots around 3 a.m. but did not venture out to see what happened. Spencer's body was discovered just after 6 a.m. by a close male relative who went to check on him. Well, that was your update at 8 o'clock. Look out for news in full at 12 noon.
Up to date and credible. Power 102 Digital.
Legislation sets the tone for how we treat each other as a society. It provides those boundaries and the expectations, and it also upholds the rights of all of the citizens.
Legislation is important for everyone in society as it sets rules and regulations that create an organized, safe, and fair environment in which everyone is equal.
They form the opinion that because you have a disability, that you are somehow unintelligent, stupid, ridiculously asinine, you name it. So legislation is quite important, and I hope that legislation is soon coming so that people with disabilities can be who they are. People first, disabilities after.